Welcome to today's virtual workshop. We're going to cover building a custom Alexa skill, which you can use either with your Amazon Echo home automation device or with the Alexa voice service, which you can run on a Raspberry Pi or any other little mini PC that you've got sitting around. So you don't even have to own an Echo, just something with a microphone that can install this service and you're good to go. So let's have a look at what we're talking about here. Amazon Alexa runs on the Echo. Use the skills kit to program it. You can see all these projects to help you get started. And basically, we're going to be programming an interaction that allows you to talk to Alexa, give it some custom commands, and receive a custom response. Specifically, we're going to be coding a simple example that allows you to specify your favorite color, and then Alexa will remember that and repeat it back to you upon request. And then we're going to modify that. And after that, I will show you a little bit, a couple of extra things that you can do. So to get started, let's head over to aws.amazon.com. If you don't already have an AWS account, you're going to need to create one. I have one, so I'm going to log in. Okay, so here we go. Please don't email me at this address. I don't like you. Well, maybe I like you. I don't know. We don't know each other yet. Anyway, if you don't know me, please don't use that address. Welcome to the service dashboard. Hit Lambda. We're going to create a Lambda function that speaks to our Echo. So basically, it waits for the service to be activated, and then it responds to it in a certain way. That is what Lambda is for. We're going to use the color expert example skill. So type in color and click here. The event source type is the Alexa skills kit because we're using voice. You can do other things. So Alexa Smart Home allows you to use a series of predefined commands, things like turn the lights on and off and stuff. And then you can define how your system at home responds to that, depending on whether you have a certain type of smart lights or garage door opener or whatever. But we're going to be doing something totally custom. So give it a quick name. How about Hackster workshop? That's nice and generic. Hi, that's my description. I'm a really bad developer. I should provide a better description. Anyway, so you can choose between these languages. If you're doing Node.js, you probably want to use 4.3, Python 2.7, Java 8. These don't have much of a difference. Go with what you're comfortable with. The one difference is that if you're using Node.js or Python, you can stick with 128 megs of memory. If you are using Java, you will probably want to bump that up a bit because it's a little bit more resource hungry. So we don't need to edit any of this, but just to take a look at it, it's got these different types of event requests, and it's got this handler called index.handler, which is defined up here, exports.handler. We've exported it. And so we're listening for events. Launch request, which is when you say, hey, Alexa, do this thing for me. Intent request, which is the actual part where you say, do a certain thing for me. And you can tell it to stop the session as well. And those will be handled by our developer-defined code. So anyway, index.handler is fine. Pick a basic execution role, that's fine. It'll open up this other window for you, or tab. Basic execution role is fine. You can also choose Alexa basic execution. There's a tutorial that tells you to do this. They're essentially the same. If you haven't done the tutorial, you won't have this option. But yeah. So this basically means that it doesn't have access to your other Amazon resources. Advanced settings, again, we talked about memory. Your timeout is how long it'll wait for you to keep speaking before it stops listening. If you want, you can put it up as high as 8 seconds, which is how long the Echo will hardware time out listening to you. So if you're long-winded, this is bad for you. If you want it to be quick and snappy, Memo recommends 3 seconds. So Memo is the awesome Alexa team member who gave us the tutorial that I am repeating to you now. VPC is, what is it called? It's virtual private cloud, which basically is a way of making your code more secure. We don't need this. I'm okay with people knowing my favorite color. It gives you a little summary so you can make sure you got everything right. And then you hit create function. So now you have this beautiful little thing. You can see all your code that you've typed in here. And later on, we will look at some actions, including a test event. You can also go ahead and upload a .zip file instead of doing most of what we just did. Same thing with uploading. If you have an example that you want to use, and there are plenty of those, I'll show you those later, but here's one GitHub folder with, or a repo, pardon me, with JavaScript examples. But anyway, going back to what we were doing, let's head over to the developer console. So that's developer.amazon.com. And same thing as before, you can have separate accounts that talk to each other. You're going to be grabbing this ARN to talk to the specific Lambda function that you created. So I think that even if you have separate accounts, it'll work okay. So let's see, apps and services, there we go. Let's see. Oh, here we go, okay. Alexa skills kit, beautiful. And I'm going to click create a skill now. Add a new skill. So again, here's this smart home skill API that allows you to, if you look at it, there's these options that you have, like, let's see, like these ones, for example, smart home skills. Turn something on, turn something off, increase and decrease the temperature, and you can hook up whatever you want to be triggered by those phrases, but it has basically a library of things that is already set up to handle. And you'll see in a minute why that could be useful, because in order to have a robust system that responds to a lot of different potential ways of phrasing things, either you have to come up with a bunch of them, or this would be a useful way to sort of skip all that, and they have already a pretty well-defined set of possible inputs and responses. So if you're planning on publishing your app, you want to be careful what name you choose. Pick something awesome and snappy. Fire name. That's a terrible, oh God. I'm so sorry. My first app. Ugh, I'm sorry, this is terrible. Let's see. So invocation name. So when you activate this or you invoke this skill, you're going to say, Alexa, tell or ask or start, and then this invocation name. So let's say start. My brain is really boring right now. Let's just go with Buckaroo. Maybe we'll make it have something to do with Buckaroo Banzai. So here's where we're going to define most of the code that the handler points to, depending on what input we receive. There is a great example up. You can find it at bit.ly/color-skill, because I've made you a beautiful link. It points to their documentation. Here's a sample intent schema for this example. Let's not get the line numbers in there. Paste this in the front or in the first box. Now, Memo also added another intent to handle someone wanting to stop this app, which if you want to just have a runaway app, that should be fine. But you can also just put in stop intent. So now, when you look at this, you see you have a type called list of colors. Now, where does that list of colors go? You have the ability to define a slot, which is basically when someone, when you write color in your code, that's basically a spot where you can drop in any number of things like blue, gray, etc. In your responses. And so you define that here. So we're going to call it list of colors like above. And then add a bunch of color names. And if you're not creative like me, you can just grab this from up there. I'm going to add gray because that's my favorite. And basically, Alexa will be able to recognize and store things outside of this list. However, it will weight its recognition based on what's in this list. So if you say like bray or something that sounds weird like that, it will probably get weighted towards gray rather than literally interpreting the sounds that you said. Otherwise, it will simply attempt to match it to the closest thing. So if you say door hinge, you might get orange. Who knows? I think that's pretty cool, actually. Sample utterances. Like before, we mentioned that if you're building your own skill from scratch, a way to make it robust is to handle as many possible inputs as you can so that Alexa doesn't come up drawing a blank when you're trying to respond to something. So all the ways to trigger what's my color intent. You can say, what's my favorite color? What is my favorite color? What's my color? What is my color? And all these other things so that you can try and prevent trolls. And then there's only one for my favorite color is, but in this case, Alexa is prompting the user for a specific format of input. So if you look at the code, let's see, I believe it's in Lambda. Yeah, here we go. So she welcomes you to the Alexa Skills Kit sample and says, please tell me your favorite color by saying, my favorite color is blank. And so when you've prompted the user for a certain format of input, then you can be a lot more lazy with this. But you might still want to add a few other options because people ignore instructions. You're probably ignoring half of this right now. That's great. It's going to take a minute. Oh, okay, yeah. It's still taking a minute to scroll around. That's fine. That's normal. The endpoint is, as we mentioned before, your Lambda ARN. I've timed out here. One sec. Oh, no, this is a different thing. Okay. ARN, up here. Here we go. Oh, important to note, when you're working with Alexa, make sure that you are in the US East, North Virginia region, because that is the one that is configured to handle Alexa skills. So make sure that that's set to North Virginia. Grab the ARN from here and paste it in the little box. Make sure Lambda ARN is selected. I don't care about letting people create an account with me. So that's easy. Now we can run a test with this. The crazy thing is, I was doing this workshop with an Echo sitting right next to me, hooked up to my Alexa account or my Amazon account, and the moment that I had saved this thing, I was able to test it with my Echo hooked up to this account, and it already responded based on this skill, which is nuts. I didn't have to say like push it to my account somewhere or like sync it somehow. No, it just goes. No downloading, no anything. So let's see. Oh yeah, so I think you can do some crazy things with this. There was a cool one, I think it was called digits. Interpret as digits. And then you can give it a number like elite
31337.
Whereas if you say spell out HELLO.
HELLO.
It's pretty cool. What if I just take this away?
Hello.
Let's see what she does with this.
31,337.
See, that's not right at all, but neither is 31337. So we'll have to, you know, teach her a little bit, but whatever. So enter an utterance. So let's say Alexa starts, what is it, color? Wait, no, it's right up here. Alexa ask Buckaroo. But I can also say like start Buckaroo or whatever, and she'll still respond. So it's prompting me to try something. So this is what you're sending to Lambda from your Echo, and this is the response that you get. And you can even listen to that.
Welcome to the Alexa Skills Kit sample. Please tell me your favorite color by saying, "My favorite color is red."
Cool. Now the other thing that we can do is we can grab this example request that was generated, and we can stick it in as a test event. So I'm going to enter that JSON string here and test. And I forgot what it's supposed to do. I would like to listen to that, please. Oh, there we go. Execution result. Fantastic. So there's the response that we got. And that's probably just the same as this. So then if you want to share this with the world, you can go ahead, hit next, configure all this stuff, descriptions and things. These will appear in the app, in the actual Alexa app, in the list of skills. Give it a category, give it an icon and stuff like that. And he said that it usually takes around 5 days to approve this, which seems incredibly short to me. So you won't have to be, sitting around on the edge of your seat like with Apple apps or whatever. You can just hang out for a week, chill, go on vacation, do whatever, come back, have your skill hopefully approved. Let's see. So a few FAQs that came up in Memo's workshop. I happened to write down because I forget things often, and so I have to write everything down. But let's go through them. So relating to publishing your project, first off, you get 1 million free invocations per month. And that counts not just your invocations, but if you share your code with your ARN, or if you publish it, then anyone who runs that, if they use your skill, it's going to count against your account. But you get 1 million invocations per month, and apparently the next million costs only a couple of bucks. So you don't have to worry about experimenting if you're afraid that you're going to get super viral popular, And if you do get super viral popular, just build in something that pays you 10 cents every time they do that or whatever. Anyway, work out an advertising deal or something. Right now, Alexa cannot identify voice signatures, so you can't tell who's saying something, which is probably good because Memo's example was if you wake up and you have a sore throat and you sound like death, then Alexa won't be like, "You're not Jake, I'm not going to authorize your request," or whatever. Let's see. If you want to call an external API, you can do that from your from your Lambda function. So for example, let's have a look again. Screen share. Where have you gone? There we go. Okay, so in your Lambda function, if you're writing in Node.js, for example, just use a Node module for calling HTTP post requests or something. Anything that you can do from a regular JavaScript, not sketch, program, app, thing. Anything that you can regularly do in that language, you can do from this Lambda function. Let's see, what other questions were there? You can make data persist across sessions. So like every time someone says stop, like if they're tired of having to talk about their favorite color or whatever, or if it just times out because they stopped talking to Alexa for a while, then the session ends. And in the case like the color function that we just created, that means that all the data on what your favorite color is goes away. Or the data go away, I guess, it's plural. But if you want the data to persist across sessions, you can do that. You need to use DynamoDB and IAM, which is a service that allows you to define credentials. And so then you can identify yourself, you can store responses in the database, and then you'll be able to call them up later on. And let's see. So the next thing I was going to do here, we have a couple more couple more little questions. So if you want to share your code with other people without posting it online or emailing it to them or doing any of other, like a million other options, what you can do is go into your dev settings. Let's see, yes. And you can add people. I think it's under here. Yes, okay. You can add new users to your developer account, and they will now have access to view and edit your code for your Alexa skill, not for your Lambda function necessarily. That might be a separate thing. But this part, at least, they will be able to modify. So if you have someone building an icon for you, you don't want to use email for whatever reason, you can do that. Finally, we looked at Node. There are Java examples on GitHub as well. And also a number of other ones. However, there are no Python examples yet, but they're working on getting those up and running. So it's super exciting. I'm going to go star this. Oh, I'm not signed in. I'm not going to go star it just now. But, and then let's just, oh God. Log in here. If you go to echo.amazon.com, if you hit skills, you can go and install all these wonderful skills. So say you want to customize a skill, you can take this color example or any of the other examples and simply swap in, color for a magic word or whatever. I modified this already to take a magic phrase, for example. So if you want to say your favorite magic phrase is lumos or melon or abracadabra or Klaatu Barada Nikto, any of that stuff, you can have Alexa remember that. And it's exactly the same process. You just enter that in the slot where we put the colors list before, turn it into phrases or whatever you want. You don't necessarily have to rename it because that's all internal. Just modify what you're saying to Alexa and what she's saying back, and everything works fine. This is one that I've changed to make it listen for magic words. So if I say, Alexa, ask Sesame.
Greetings, Merlin. Please tell me your favorite magic phrase by saying, my magic phrase is abracadabra or whatever.
And so as you see, it's really easy to customize. All I've done here is customize what happens in the Lambda function, as well as I happen to have gone through and changed what these are called internally to the app as well. So it's really easy to create your own custom Alexa skill, whether you're modifying one from an example or doing something completely from scratch. And what we'd love to see from you actually is new templates. So if you create a skill from scratch that doesn't do facts or trivia or this basic type of response, just create an app with it, a skill with it, save it, and email it to us. You can do it to alex@hackster.io, and we'll send it to the Alexa team. Give them a description about what it does and make sure that your demo app really explores the full potential. And this could be a new template. Right now, there's only a couple, so you could have a huge influence on the growing Alexa community. And we'd love to see what you come up with. Thanks for tuning in, and have an awesome day. Hack on.